Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel, and welcome to 6 games I played so you don't have to. This is where I take a look at a bunch of games and I talk about them kind of in a short way because I don't want to give a full review to each of them and why I'm not really a big fan of them. We're going to start, I guess we're going to go downhill from here. So we'll start with the ones that are the least bad. So we have Token Terrors. Now Token Terrors is all about these caltropa pieces. I mean, that's really what it is. It comes with these little, they're like little heads. Like, ooh, look at that little head. And there's a little goblin head. And you move these around on the board. They have special abilities. And then you're just fighting each other in kind of a combat game. There's some ways to make it more interesting adding cards. But it's really slow, really kind of not interesting combat that you're just going back and forth on. This one for me is just a 5 out of 10. I wanted to like it more, but it's deterministic, not interesting combat. Kind of, this seems like it should be a fun little light game, and that just doesn't really meet that criteria. CastleScape. This is a kind of a cool cover. I like the cover a lot. It is a castle building or a wall building deck building game. Now, I was very much on board with that because I like deck building games. I also like this game comes with an entirely huge amount of these castle pieces which you put on the board. But there's a few problems with this game, and the biggest one being that the cards themselves, all the cards that you play, not all the cards, but many of the cards you play hurt you. And they give you this kind of corruption as time goes by, and every time you shove your pile, corruption is going to affect you, and in between rounds, corruption is going to pull a bunch of people off the board. There's also straight up take that cards in the game to go after other players, and what could have been a really interesting idea feels like a very, very, very mundane deck builder and not one that I really, really enjoy. Also a 5 out of 10. All right, then we have Black Hole Rainbows. Now, Black Hole Rainbows is a game that I thought would be a lot of fun. It has amazing components. The stones in here, there's this pile of these gems, and they're really great gems. I mean, really fantastic gems. It comes with these very light metal coins. And the idea of this game is you're pulling gems from a bag, and then you're playing cards that are going to manipulate the gems, and you're going to be sticking these gems in these weird little rubbery, again, it has really cool components, these rubbery things here, but it's just not very interesting at all. So many of the cards, again, are just take that card. Boom, I hit you. Boom, I hit you. Oh, I canceled your card you played. And then there's this weird mechanism where you can spend gems to roll a die which has a success rate of 3 out of 20, which, by the way, is a very weird success rate on a die. And you roll well, you're going to get more of these stones, and you get points, or you just get points, which are these coins. It feels a little clunky. It feels really, really, really light. It looks like this big, grandiose game. It's not. And I wanted to like it more, just too lucky, another 5 out of 10. Court. This is a little independent trick-taking game. Not a very nice looking box, unfortunately. And you know what? Unfortunately, the cards aren't very nice. It has an interesting concept of the cards that you win over the course of a trick are the ones that you can play in the next round. And unfortunately, after that, the interesting things end. The court cards in this game are way too powerful. The idea of the game is the high card will win a trick, while the lowest card of trick uses a special ability written in 2-point font on the cards. But the royal cards count as high and low cards, which makes them entirely too powerful. And even though they deal 1 out to each player at the beginning of the game, you could get 2 or 3 of them, which means you're going to win the hand. It's just so many bad things. 3 out of 10. Peter Pan. Wow, folks, I really wanted to like this one. I like Peter Pan as a story. I like Madigo. I liked the last game in this series, Treasure Island. Now, Treasure Island, Z Garcia was not a big fan of because of the kind of you would draw stuff, and there's a little bit of ambiguity. You can't always tell where stuff is on the board. And this game takes that up to 11, and also just kind of, it has you in a very weird way use cards to tell people what direction to move on the board. Now, the movement thing is kind of cool, but other than that, it's like, you need to move sort of, kind of in this direction. And I hope you avoid Captain Hook. Wow, I hated this game. This game is a 2. And the only reason it's not a 1 is because the artwork and everything looks really nice. But this was just bad all around. I cannot recommend this. It's just too vague. This is Peter Vague. I didn't like it at all. About the next one, I'm giving a 1 to, which is sad because it has nice artwork, but that is not good enough. This is The Hunt for the Dragon Throne. This is a game for kids, and somehow this game has slipped through the portals of time from 1983 till now. It is a roll and move game. You roll and you move around a board. And I'm not kidding. There you go. You move around this board. Occasionally, you will stop on a spinner. That gives you weapons. Occasionally, you will stop and gamble with another player for coins. I really don't get kids' games and gambling there. We're like, hey, let's get rid of all our stuff. Bad things happen. It has you lose turns, multiple turns, and occasionally you have to fight a dragon. If you fight a dragon, you better have a weapon, because if you don't have a weapon and you lose to the dragon, you go all the way back, not to the beginning, but only to space 22 out of 100. That's terrible. Terrible, terrible. Everything about this game is random, from the spinner to the dice to the... Who designed this? This is shameful game design. The people who designed this, it feels like they've never played another board game except for the ones in their childhood. And I don't get that. I'm all for kids games, and I think kids games should have things that other games don't have. Maybe they're lighter for kids, but this one, to tell a kid they're on space 100, and because they lost to a dragon, not only do they go back to 22, which effectively takes you out of the game, but you got to go all the way back and rolling and then losing a turn and then rolling and then doing nothing. What is this? This is the year 2023, folks. This is not a good game. So, anyway, those are 6 games that I don't think are very good. But you might have different opinions on them. Let us know in the comments. Tell people why they're great, so people get different opinions on them. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching 6 Games I Played, so you don't have to, on the Dice Tower.